I think one of the things that really strikes me, sort of I'm walking around with this Osmo Pocket 3 that I'm filming on, is we live in this age where we're so lucky to have the tools for creation of art and creation of creativity so at our disposal and so at our fingertips. And it's an incredibly powerful thing. Hey everybody, how you doing? This is yet another video crowding up the internet about this goddamn thing, the Osmo Pocket 3. And there are legions of fans of this thing out there. It's possibly the most hyped camera outside the Fuji X100VI that I think I've ever heard of or I've ever seen. You probably clicked on the thumbnail because I drew you in with some negativity, some juicy anger about this thing. Let's start off with some juicy anger. This thing annoys the shit out of me when I'm filming. It just wants to do its own thing constantly. It's so annoying. You will be walking along with this locked onto you and suddenly the shot will change slightly. Or it will inexplicably, as you're walking along, tracking a subject, sort of reach the gimbal limits when it doesn't look as though it's at the limit of the gimbal rotation. It's incredibly annoying. And then what it does is, when it does that, it just goes flop. I'm gonna try and put some footage of it doing that live. I think I was following my son through a forest. Everything looked completely normal. I was holding it more or less straight on. The gimbal mechanism was straight on, and it just kind of follows him and then goes flop. And it's like it loses the tracking, but instead of wanting to admit it's lost the tracking, the software is just flopping it and saying, "Oh, reach the gimbal limit, your fault, because you turned it too far." So it really, really irritates me. The handling of it sometimes, if it's not working perfectly, it's messing up on you really, really badly. Now look, if I'm walking through a forest with my son, that's okay. Like, I don't care too much. It's not a professional video. But if you're following a subject, if you're using this as a B cam, if you're using it as a professional tool, it could be really annoying. Look, the image quality is good enough. You can stack it next to a Sony camera. And if you're good with your color grading and you use it in the right lighting conditions, it can be indistinguishable. And I dare say, I know a few people who've been sneaking these into professional shoots. I'm one of them. And in some situations, it is absolutely great. It's worked as a B cam for me. I've put it into client work and it has seamlessly slotted in there and been absolutely fantastic alongside a camera similar to the one that I'm using now, the Sony a7 IV. It is a little bit difficult to actually match the color between Sony and DJI, I find. I'm not a professional colorist. So maybe there are people who've got this all figured out. Yeah, it's an interesting process trying to integrate this into your workflow as a professional tool as well. But I've shot entire YouTube videos on it. You can have a look at my channel and find the one where I'm talking about speaking corporate to make money. It was entirely shot on this thing, and I was very happy with the results for the most part. Now, look, another little thing I want to talk about with these, and look, this happens with the Rodes as well. It's one of the trends along with fake podcast setups on LinkedIn, but that's a whole other rant. People wearing these on the outside of their clothing that I think we need to sort of kill in 2025. Anyway, thoughts in the comments. That's not what this video is about. A little side rant there. Let's keep talking about the Osmo Pocket 3. And one of the things I love about it is the fact that this is so seamlessly integrated. The microphone works absolutely perfectly with it. It's on, so I keep looking at myself. Let's turn that off. But it's so perfectly integrated. You can just switch them both on and you're ready to go. Even with the setup I'm using right now with my Sony camera, with the Rode Wireless Go 2s, which I absolutely love, and I've depended on them for a few years now. And one of the big issues with them is you've got to get the cable out, you've got to attach it to the camera, you've got to make sure that the levels are set every single time, that the camera's not too high, that the gain on the Rode's not too high, and so much of this and this happen automatically. It's absolutely sensational user experience. Plus you get the battery levels for this on here, so you know if it's about to run out of battery, which is absolutely insane as well. You can see it on the little screen. It will give you a battery warning if this is about to run out. The other thing I love, this is really cool, is you can trigger recording on the Osmo from the little button on here, which is insane. So if you're filming yourself or even interviewing somebody and you don't want to touch the device to trigger recording, you can be wearing one of these interviewing somebody and you can just click your microphone to start recording and sort of keep everything set up. You don't have to do that, walk to the camera, click it, and then walk back. Plus, I love the fact that these record on board. To be fair, the Rode Wireless Go 2s also record on board. So look, that's actually something I love. I feel like that's great karma. It counterbalances my insane hate for sometimes how this thing just completely loses its shit when you're handling it. I'm gonna have to do a lot of bleeping in this video, aren't I? So this thing, people either love it or hate it. and I love it and hate it at the same time. There's some great stuff about it. There are some really cool features. It does this little face tracking thing. The camera follows you around. So, you know, if I was recording right now, this thing would be locked onto my face, which is very cool. The active track, they call it. Obviously, it flips out of your pocket, and there's this little screen that you can flip to turn it on, turn it off, flip it into vertical mode if you want to as well. It's got a gimbal which stabilizes it, which is fantastic. You can make it absolutely tiny by taking this handle off and having this tiny little thing, which is, I guess, pocket sized. And this is one of my criticisms of it I'm going to get into in a second, calling it the Pocket. Okay, so we've talked about the handling. We've talked a little bit about the incredible convenience that is having the DJI Mic 2s paired up with it, and having two that pair up with it as well is absolutely insane. I absolutely love that. Let's talk about another good thing for a second, because I'm on a roll. I'm happy. I'm feeling good about the Osmo Pocket 3. Then we'll get onto some more of that negative stuff after the handling in a second. Okay, look, it is tiny. It is really small. It's especially when you detach it from the handle bit and the little tripod thing, it is incredibly tiny, and it is pocket sized.
As well as being small, there is an undeniable benefit in how much it weighs. The equivalent setup with the Sony a7 IV is so much heavier and so much more impactful on your back if you're carrying it around all day. Something to consider.
And okay, look, I was going to talk about something positive, but let's jump straight into a negative, that it ties directly into what I'm talking about, it being called the Osmo Pocket, it being pocket sized like that. It's all a lie. It's smoke and mirrors. To actually use the thing, to actually be able to grip it, you really need at least the small little attachment thing here attached to be able to hold it without covering up bits of it, without accidentally sort of having your hand over the screen, that sort of stuff. Look, I don't know anybody who seriously uses the mics on this. A lot of people sort of do reviews of this thing and they say, oh, when you hold it like that, without this bit, it covers the mics. But nobody who knows what they're doing and is trying to get really good audio, and it's not in a pinch, is going to be using the built-in mics. And DJI know that. That's why they produced this thing. They expect you to buy this. It's kind of like you should get the creator combo. I don't think this is worth getting on its own without the mics.
But it's awkward to hold. I don't have the biggest hands in the world, but it's really awkward to hold when the screen flips out. And I do like the landscape screen. I wouldn't want them to change that in a future iteration. There's a lot of people who criticize this sticking out. I love it. Being pocketable. This is what I was getting to. Being pocketable. You can't just shove this thing in your pocket. If you do, you'll break the gimbal. You'll come out and it will be like that. And this thing could really easily snap off. There are lots of people online posting pictures of this thing getting broken because they've shoved it in their pocket. And to actually use it, you do need the case, which I've mislaid somewhere. I have no idea where I've put it, which isn't great. Here it is. This case here, which makes it a lot bigger and it makes it a lot more difficult to put it in its pocket. That's weird. I just looked at my monitor here and actually looking at it on camera, it doesn't look huge. But when you put it in your pocket, it does look absolutely ginormous. And again, if you need this thing, you've got to have a pocket for that. You've got to have a pocket for the mic, which to be fair can attach to the case, but it makes it even more awkward. There we go. It kind of clips at the top like that. That makes it instantly unpocketable. This thing really, if you are wearing anything but like quite baggy pants, and I know those are back in fashion, bring back the 90s, that is awesome. But you cannot fit this in a normal pocket of normal trousers or pants, to Americanize or Australianize it, because that's how I roll. So that is incredibly frustrating. It's not really pocket. I think they should have called this the DJI Vlogs or something like that. I think a perfect pocket camera would actually be closer to the little rectangular form factor of the action camera. I would love the quality of this, the larger sensor of this, with the form factor of the DJI action cameras. Because I think that would be absolutely perfect for me. Maybe I'm just too old-fashioned, but I don't think everybody needs a gimbal in their pocket. But I do think it would be really handy having something the size of a DJI action camera with the quality of one of these in your pocket. The quality and the type of lens and all that sort of stuff. And the stabilization seems brilliant on the actions. So I don't know, look, thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what people think. I keep saying thoughts in the comments a lot. Hopefully you can tell it's because I am so polarized by this as well. There are bits about it I love and bits about it I absolutely cannot stand. The handling, obviously, the fact that it isn't truly pocketable, it's so difficult to get into your pocket. You shove it in there and it looks as though, especially if you're a dude, it looks as though you padded out your pocket. or you're having an awkward reaction to people around you, which is awkward.
You know, it's funny, sort of as I'm sitting here talking, and I just sort of had a moment of reflection there when I stopped the camera, is that as I rant about this thing, as I sort of talk about the things I don't like about it, I keep sort of self-correcting in my mind, and to be fair, looking at the things I do like about it as well. And if you think about how much you have to rig up sort of full-size mirrorless camera or cinema camera or anything like that in order to be able to use it, and how much effort goes into just setup, then the amount of setup this takes away is absolutely insane. I think it was designed as a vlogging tool, not a professional cinema tool, not a professional videography tool, and people have managed to extend the usable nature of this thing for so much more, and it is such an incredible thing. Content creators have pushed this series to its absolute limits. DJI have reacted by putting more and more into these tiny things, and this tiny thing is actually remarkable in what it can achieve. It's also pretty decent at night, not great, but pretty decent at night. In a pinch, if you want to get footage out of this, you can get usable footage at night. I'll put some late night footage from about midnight on New Year's, I think, on the screen right now, so you can kind of see what I captured with this. I didn't capture it with this, I didn't have it with me because this thing's tiny, this thing's not. So there are advantages to every single camera. Do I think the DJI Pocket 3 is worth the hype? Kinda. Do I think I want to keep it? I'm torn. Like, I see new stuff coming out constantly. I want to buy all of it. The Fuji XM5 looks really nice. I want to try that out. I don't want to side-by-side it. It's not fair, but at the same time, I do want to take the footage from this and the footage from that and the footage from an XM5 and see if I can use it all and make it all work together without tearing my hair out. You know, I'm in my 40s. I've got to be careful of tearing hair out. I want to keep it all. It might not come back. I don't know. Okay, look, here's the big bugbear. Here's why I get frustrated with it. It is designed as a vlogging tool, yet when you vlog with it, it constantly freaks the F out, and the gimbal goes everywhere and goes all over the place, and you lose your framing, and it's very difficult to control the framing. I think even in the little framing mode, where you're meant to be able to control the framing a little bit more, see on the side of the screen right here, you touch this little thing, it pops up, and there's no face detected there. The second thing down, dynamic framing, you start that, it gives you this little grid system on the screen, and you're meant to be able to change where it frames things, so you can use the rule of thirds. There's detected my face, and now theoretically it should keep me within the third, and for anyone who doesn't know the rule of thirds, I'm framed on the third right here, right now, and if you frame yourself here, 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 or here, then it's meant to give you a better composition. So that's what I did with this shot, that's what I often do with this, and I try and do it, but it seems to lose you. It seems to start cutting off the top of your head for no reason, even when it's got plenty of latitude to not do that. And it needs to somehow combine this with the eye tracking. And I would love it if you could like tell it, keep a head distance, keep like a hand's head distance or something like that. But you know, use the little joystick to adjust it slightly, and then it will look good in 1 second, and then all of a sudden it won't, and it will jump and crop the top of my head off or do something weird, and it doesn't work the way I really want it to, and it doesn't work the way I think it should for someone who has no idea about cameras just outside of the box. And I think for a beginner that would get very frustrating, because a beginner just wants to get the shot they want to get, and they have no idea necessarily behind the technical reason that they're doing that, or why it doesn't look good when you know you have YouTube videos where your head's cropped like that or like that, just for example. And that was a really quick example there. But that is so frustrating. And I think, you know, even as a beginner camera, they need to make some of those features work a little bit better. AI can do so much, and algorithmic stuff can do so much. It detects eyes already. It knows where the top of the frame is. Make sure there's a constant ratio between the eye on the top of the frame and the eye on the bottom of the frame, and you'll have a winning combination. DJI, this is an idea for free. If you did that, it would just make this such a killer device. Sort of eye positioning correctly on the screen, not just eye tracking for tracking and autofocus and stuff, but being able to sort of extrapolate where the eye is on the screen based on its distance from the top and the bottom and how good framing works. All right, DJI Osmo Pocket 3. If you want a really simple, easy to use camera,
I recommend it. If you need more control of your footage and you want the best possible optics, buy a larger, better quality mirrorless. To be honest, once you've got the creator combo and all that sort of stuff, look, it's cheap. It's like 700 and something pounds, probably less now because I brought it. You know, it's almost a year since I've had this thing, 8-9 months ish to a year. And I'm sure prices are coming down as DJI prep for the next iteration of these. But for not much more, you can get like a Fuji XM5, which does slightly different things, but it's an interchangeable lens system. If you're investing in those lenses, then you're invested in the long term. You can get Fuji's larger, better, higher quality cameras. People using on film productions and documentary productions now. And look, they are using these too, but I don't know. I don't see a future in the immediate future where professional production is going to move to these little things. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm naive. I said myself, I have worked them into some of my shoots recently, but it's tough to justify to a client if you show up with 3 of these in a bag and a couple of lights. I think. I don't know. What do people think? It's a fun tool. It is a fun tool. Very fun. I keep saying that a lot. I feel like I'm trying to convince myself, and at the same time, I'm already convinced, and at the same time, sometimes I want to throw it at the fucking wall because it keeps losing you when you're tracking and walking. Could be so perfect in some situations. I don't know why I'm growling at it. It's a very, very cheap camera in the scheme of camera things. I've got a lot of good use out of it. I probably will continue to get a lot of good use out of it. I think it's like someone who I love, but I'm slightly disappointed in. That's the best way I can describe my feelings about this little thing. How long have I been ranting about it now? I wouldn't rant about it like this, I guess, if I didn't have sort of this affection for it. It's small, it's cute, it's user-friendly. I was going to say kind of like a good friend, but that's really weird. Small, cute, and user-friendly. It works in so many levels and doesn't in others. Let's stand it here. DJI, what am I going to do with you? What am I going to... All right, so the grand finale of my video, I've got a little bit of a dirty frame right here, and what I'm going to do is try and hold the Osmo right here next to the A7 IV and get them both recording the outro so we can put them side by side and actually see if I can match this color at all. Very similar lighting conditions. I've tried to match the white balance so they're at similar Kelvin levels, and we'll see if I can get the colors to match at all and either disprove my theory or prove it. Anyway, look, thank you so much for watching. I hope this has been helpful for anybody who's thinking about getting this thing or already has it and just wanted to hear someone revent, and we can all sign a petition and get angry at DJI and get them to fix all this stuff. I do love parts of it. I do hate other parts of it. Am I going to keep it? Yes, absolutely. Anyway, look, please do like and subscribe, and really, really importantly, let me know in the comments what your frustrations are. I feel like if we band together, then we can all reach out to DJI and get them to fix stuff. One of the great things I love about them, oh my God, another idea that popped into my head, is that they do seem to respond to people's feedback, and they do make changes, which is absolutely fantastic. So look, let's leverage that. Let's actually take advantage of the fact there is a camera company out there that listens to its consumers and get them to do something about some of this stuff, because they could have a perfect camera for vlogging and for filming yourself, but they could have an absolutely perfect camera as a little B cam and all that sort of stuff as well. See, I'm giving them even more use cases. But anyway, look, take care, everybody. I've already kind of said goodbye, haven't I? See you, bye. Just got totally sidetracked. White balancing the thing. I'd love it if it just had click to white balance. I look so much warmer on the Sony. I feel like if I keep going, the DJI is much yellower and the Sony is much redder. So you're gonna need like Cinematch kind of stuff to be able to properly match them. And it's really interesting actually, holding them up next to each other. I'm doing this right now. I'm holding them right next to each other to try and get them to white balance. So the Pocket seems to add, it's got a different color profile basically. What happens if I hit auto? The Pocket seems to add yellow, whereas the Sony adds a sort of a redder orangey color, which, look, I mean, they weren't designed to be used together. They're competing manufacturers who both make their own cameras.
I would love for, I know camera manufacturers often differentiate themselves on color, but I would love for there to just be one standard, and someone's going to pop a comment in telling me that there is, but one standard that was easy to just press a button on every, choose a preset standard that matched across all different camera brands. For the most part, as I understand it, Sony make most of the camera sensors for every other company anyway. So there's got to be some consistency there in the way the software interprets the signal from those. But camera manufacturers, sometimes open standards are really, really good. That's why we have JPEGs that work on every computer. That's why we have all sorts of other things. I don't want to start making a list of standards, and I did just sort of go blank there when I tried to make a list of them. But there are all sorts of standards that make it really helpful for your users. And this is a bit of a bugbear I have with every camera manufacturer. I would just love a consistent standard across everything. We've done it with file formats already, MP4s, MOVs. I know every manufacturer has their own variations of RAW and LUTs and all that sort of stuff, but I would love one consistent profile across all the camera manufacturers, that, you know, if you have all of your cameras sitting next to each other, you can switch it to this profile and they all just sync between each other. It will be absolutely amazing. Guys, create an open standard, work together. Look at what Apple and Google are doing with home automations and Matter, and I know that's taking a really long time to come together, but if you guys did this in the background, think of Pantone colors, all those sorts of things in the design world, it would absolutely revolutionize and change the way that your users experience cameras, and it would be so much of a better experience for all the users. Fuji, keep your film simulations. Sony, keep your Cinetone. DJI, keep whatever the hell you have. Standard profiles and DJI AM logs, but have one that like just syncs between all your different cameras. I don't know what it would take. It's possibly a impossible engineering feat, who knows, but it will be so incredible for all the different people who use your cameras out there and just want the best tools for the job. It's not always the best tool for the job to have an entirely Sony ecosystem. Sony, I'm going to keep buying your lenses if I can also sync this with your cameras. In fact, it will make me use your camera more. DJI likewise, it will help me use your camera more if I can sync it with this thing over here. I really reckon in the industry there's a missed opportunity for this. This was meant to be about the Osmo Pocket 3. It's wild how I go on these tangents, isn't it? But hey, more value for everybody. Isn't this a great idea? I think a standard across the industry. I'm going to start a petition and get 5 signatures, no doubt. But I think it will be a really powerful thing to do, and I would love for camera manufacturers to do that. Anyway, okay.